Hey guys, welcome to today's video. My name is Priscilla Phillips and this is my channel. So on today's conversation is self-responsibility. Okay. Um Self-responsibility. Personally, I've come to find how important self responsibility is. The foundation, self responsibility being the foundation for many other self ownership, self agency, self identity, self primarily as it regards self ownership and accountability. Have I said that before? Okay. Anyway, and accountability. In no particular order, this is just my personal findings and how I relate it to my individual self. And so, across many personal ponders, self responsibility has been one fundamental element that I see consistently puts one, put a person in the position to self advance their life, to self advance spiritually, to self advance financially, to self advance economically, to self advance in every aspect of life, right? Because while I'm having this conversation, or why I had this conversation with myself was I was like, why is it that the other people here find it difficult to self account, find it difficult to look at a situation and hold themselves accountable? Like the one you did, the one I did, the one the person did. Hold yourself accountable. See the part you played in that situation. Analyze it to be able to know what role you played, if you played any role. In my case, what role I have played. I was asking this question or my ponders to why it's like a big deal for some people to hold themselves accountable. Because there are many situations that I find myself, I will like, I see the one I played in it. I see what the situation is. Like, standardly, I look at any situation from a 360 perspective. Because I really approach every situation neutrally, right? And then analyze the situation and then see what it is, what insights the situation is offering me, or the opportunity it is giving me to discern a behavior of my own. Or like, for me, life is a life is like a school for me. So every breathing moment is a learning moment for me. So while I was pondering about this here, and I said, the only reason, or one of the only reason, or the reason that have come to my mind is that a person would lack self accountability if they are not self responsible for themselves. If this means that they don't think like they are somebody, like they don't think that their self responsibility, their life choices, they are living their life is their own first. Does that make sense? Oh my god. Okay, I'm getting really ding 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 in my brain. Um And so, for the fact that a person does not see themselves as a sovereign being, and that word I look for, man, hit it. The fact that a person, or the moment a person does not see themselves as a sovereign being, it's it neutralizes it neutralizes the place of self-responsibility. It neutralizes self-love. It neutralizes self. Ah, it completely takes away the idea of self. Idea of self. For them to not be accountable for their life. I've been in situations, or okay, growing up as a teenager, I grew up in another home. So I refer to that home as my foster home, and every other person as a foster family. And so my foster mom one day said something, oh, I don't have a choice. They had this quarrel between her and the husband. And she was so downcasted and everything. This particular day, she had even carried her box. She had even carried her boxes and everything, like, just a few boxes. And I feel like she was just doing that out of drama. Going back at it now, not to trivialize the situation, but just going back and just looking at the situation right now. I'm like, was she for real? She just had just two boxes outside, and then she sat at her bed corner, and then she was like, oh, this is I can't take this anymore. In a marriage that there was no gun to her head. Do you understand? And then she just kept saying, that's not the first time it happened, okay? Just this particular day, it was just it was just traumatic, right? So it was dramatic, I mean to say. And so every time it happened, it touches me because I'm an empath. So many reasons. I'm an autistic person, so I pick a lot of these things, right? And so I picked all the energy. I was heavy, I was 12, 13. And she kept saying, I don't have a choice. She doesn't have a choice. She doesn't have a choice. This and that now. If she had a choice, will she still be here in a gorgeous house? I did not know. I thought, okay. Thinking back at it now, it was an rhetorical question, but I didn't know that was what it was. So me, I now responded innocently, and I said, auntie, you have a choice. You can leave. You can go. you can go. Probably that's not what she wanted to hear, but in the math of the situation, she could leave. But for whatever reason, she doesn't have a choice. That was just a conversation. Now, there are so many other experiences I've had as an adult, how many years after. And I hear women, specifically women, who make that conversation about they don't have any choice to make a decision about their life. That is the one that blew me up the most, because I couldn't get it for the life of it as a 12-year-old. Why my foster mom, my auntie would just not fucking leave. Fucking leave. However, she never left. And so growing up as an adult, I see a lot of women being in marriages, in union that they don't like. And I just didn't get it, and I still don't get it, even if I know how to. I understand, I can explain the many other unnecessary scripting that you that owns the life have put inside of it, right? And so I'm like, was trying to get to the bottom of it, because behind every behavior, there's a thought process. What forms that thought process is a belief set, right? A mindset, a belief set that will form that thought process, that now makes it, what a reality is, or what you birth into your reality. So for me, I love to get into the root of things, to know what What is a byproduct of what is commanding what to happen, what is the fundamental, this one, that one, I just like to just excuse me, I like to like trace the dots, create my own web in the place of understanding things. And so, me just understanding the situation or understanding how life operates, this is why I'm big on truths, precepts, principles. Excuse me, that's my place. I love being there. I love talking to my wall, and then now bring. I've 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 expanded. I used to talk to my wall, talk to my wall, talk to myself, talk on the road. So take care. Me said, Priscilla, you have dada. She was just embarrassed that I don't want people to not say, look at that your friend, or look at that person that's to come to your house that is mad. She's always talking to herself. I talk to myself. And then I've brought that talking to YouTube. So, anyways, I am just somebody who likes to get to the bottom of things. And I have just realized that self-responsibility is that one element that makes any human being accountable for their life. And for the moment you are someone who is accountable for your life, you will automatically know that you are the person making your reality. You are the person manifesting your experiences. And whatever you are allowing to happen in your life is a decision you made, is a decision a person makes, whatever is happening, whatever they're allowing. And I say this to say that in my pondering of why all these women all of a sudden are just saying they don't have a choice, they don't have a choice, this one happened, they don't have a choice, that one happened, they don't have a choice. I say, God, who sent you to like women? Because it's as if the doloness is higher. We say men are dolo, but it's as if the women, the dolo on is beyond PhD level. My creator, I think we should reconsider my sexual orientation. Moving forward now, I need to reconsider my sexuality. And so, because of that drive of just understanding women, specifically understanding the feminine energy, as my 12 years ago spiritual depth started for me when that voice came again. There's this voice I listen to. It's very audible. So I call it the voice, and it's been present. It's been present from day one of my life, and that's the voice I always listen to at different points in my life, trajectories of my life that had really shifted me into the bigger truth of things. I call it seeking ye the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all that things shall be added unto it. All other things shall be added unto me. And so this voice spoke to me that particular day based on some conversation I already made and some decisions I was about taking as regards transgendering. And so the voice came and said, no, before you start, it didn't say no, just say, okay, you want to really do this? Are you sure? Before you do this, let's get to know femininity. And up before that point, I was 26, 27. And when up to that point, there's a lot of other conversation that I already been having with myself, asking source, what is this, why that, that's how I personally operate with myself. When I don't know something, I'll just go to source and I'm like, okay, source, I don't understand this. So that was the same thing I did with this. What's happening? These women don't have choices. Women that used to, women are gods, women are this. I had seen so many visions of a lot of, the place of women. And for those who know me on Facebook, I've been talking about this for like years back, even before the breakdown of feminism in the Nigerian space. So and connecting myself to the reason why it looks as if these women are, most of which has been my encounters, women who always would say, oh, I don't have a choice, I don't have a choice. the, I barely can remember any male using that term, I don't have a choice. I'm trying to remember even a feminine energy man. The only time you hear that expression, I don't have a choice, is on sexual matters with men. I hear this too as well with women. And I'm like, why would you say you don't have a choice? You have the power to make the decision. You have the power to say no, to say yes. Why? Because every human being has free will. For anybody who's ever wondering why equality is a thing, is because men and women and every other gender spectrum out there have a fucking choice. Yes, all humans have fucking choice. Okay, so the moment there's a free will, rather every human being have a free will. The moment any human being has a free will, they have the sole audacity, sole agency, and sole decision to say what they want for their lives, what they want for their bodies, who and why they want to be with the people they be. It's their human breathing right. Okay, so for those who ever wonder why we have people who are gay, whether they were born that way or whatever, or by choice, is it's your fucking choice, right? And um women who are wearing what they wear, aka all you unsociated women police officers out there. Yeah, a woman have the free will to wear the clothes she wants to wear because she alone breathed the breath of the life that was given to her, not to you, to her. That's why. So we can, figure out the rest. And so therefore, the moment when somebody is not owning their self ownership, does not have self ownership, they relinquish and neutralize every power of self ownership, and that includes loving themselves. That includes accountability, or being accountable of their actions, words, choices. They lack the self advancement, self prioritization, being able to prioritize self and say, okay, this life that was given to me, what am I here to use it for? What am I here? That conversation comes to purpose, and you find out that people don't have purpose, and I'm like, fuck, that's not possible. Okay, nothing is impossible to me, by the way, but this is one thing. Like, how would anybody not have self ownership? Because I can decide who the fuck I want to talk to, who the fuck I want to greet, who the fuck I want to respond to when they decide to greet me. You get a picture? Good. So, why would anybody now say they don't have a choice over something because it has to do with marriage, because it has to do with sex, or it had to do with, like, you are, and the frightening thing about it is, whenever I hear these words, this expression by these women, it just feels as if they've given up life. They've given up on life and um, just going with whatever happens. And when I look into the history of such people's life, it it teaches me what I should look into in terms of my self responsibility. And based on how I grew up, that made me, in fact, that was one major reason why I became hyper accountable. Like, I am somebody naturally when I kill somebody, for example, I love to own it. So this is one of the reasons I know I'm psychotic, because I take pride in whatever I do, be it evil or righteousness, whatever level of evil it is, it doesn't matter. I take pride in it. I love that. I cut his limbs out just because I felt like, that kind of thing. So, so I know this of myself, and I am very strong-willed. I've heard it from the days of my teenagehood. I am very strong-willed, and this is primarily because I look at the individual who is telling me something. I look how they are behaving. I look and I measure the level of integrity that person has. Why would I want to listen to you? It's part of that strong willness of mine that has saved me from a lot of sexual exploitation from adults as a teenager. And when I hear other people's story, it's so gory, it's so really, I'm like, what the hell? In many of those instances, I'm like, why did you allow it? That's what I would say typically. And I could quickly correct myself, and sometimes coming from a place of understanding, like, okay, you were a child, you were a minor, you were a this, the situation was this, you were afraid, you were threatened, da 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 da. Yes, possibilities show that you will be mentally unstable to be able to protect yourself, right? However, for me, the moment you put any form of pressure or don't tell as a child, the whole fucking world will hear it. The whole do and reverse psychology can never work for me, or the other way around, because I'm wired away as an autistic person already. So you're telling me, oh, shoo, 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 shoo. And even when you don't tell me, oh, shoo, 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 energetically, I can feel that already. And I'm like, this thing is not bad. This thing is not good, or like, it's not right. This is not right. That's how I know. That's my indication a lot of the time. When I have been overly naive and just innocent about a situation that I later had to catch up on and remove myself, like the situation that happened as a 16-year-old, still in my foster home, where this foster dad or father of mine said he wanted to check if I was still a virgin, and I'm like, okay. And in between the whole action of, okay, checking, you just have this swift energy that immediately hit me. I'm like, nah, this person is doing something wrong, because at the point I jerked, like, okay, it hurts. And then I quickly saw in that moment, this person is not checking whether I am a virgin. This person is exploiting me as a 16-year-old. He's masking, like, he's concerned about my sexual wellness, I guess is the word to use. Is concerned about my sexual wellness, and wants to check in. I'm like, okay, I guess that's what dads do. I don't know what that looks like. And in that quick second, I could just feel, like, immediately I pulled out off immediately, knowing the knowing or having to discern the energy that have transpired in that quick second. I knew this person was not truthful about them checking if I was a virgin. And so I went at the back of the house, washed my vagina, put what drama, put the top, plenty side water race. Went outside the gate in Ramat Crescent. If you're my age mate and you still live in that place, you know the story. If you're still the neighbor of the house, Ramat Crescent, I stayed outside the gate, crying and hailing and bringing havoc in the whole of Ogutu. dramatic reset. Till my foster mom came back. As she was there, she saw me cry. She said, hey, something don't happen. My foster mom like an Asian woman. That speaks Yoruba like from there's no adage you not you understand. And so I saw her already. She said, what happened? Like before I even finish, because this husband of hers, aka my foster dad, father, all of them, foster somebody now, foster father, is a pedophile. He has a history of always sexually harassing, end up coercing these girls into sex with him, and other back end gory pedophile stories or history of his. Thank God he's dead. And when she came, she was with a sister who was like my ideal, ideal idealness of a woman who owns herself, And then when she drove in, I was saying it out from the gate already. Oh, this is what I need to be. And then in that quick second, guess what? My foster mother blamed me. How would you? I see. He said he wants to check I'm a virgin. Like how? As in, like I'm a 16-year-old. How am I supposed? What am I supposed to do? Like what am I supposed? In respect of the fact that I've heard so many stories about his pedophile behavior with children, it's disgusting to even talk details into it. And I just felt me, I'm a foster, I'm a foster daughter. He's not going to do that to me. Look, it's just me. I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, basically, how could you have even thought that he really wants to check if you're a virgin when you know that he raped Auntie Dorothy? I know, I'm 37 and some things are just like, oh, of course yes, but I just still felt like, I'm young. Like, how old was Auntie Dorothy when that thing happened to her? Why do you think Auntie Dorothy got really, really, what's the word? Really intense about the sexual security and safety of her daughter? And it was from her. I was even learning some other things. Don't let anybody touch your vagina. Don't let anybody say they want to do anything. Excuse me. But I think that had already happened before that conversation. Yes. And I think that's how I even had the story, because they had to say the story, and then for every time situations like that happen, they will now open another level of can of this man's pedophile history. I'm like, oh, this is not just is his entire identity, right? So, well, let me tell this conversation now. Primarily, I'm saying that, Jesus. Oh God. I forgot what I said. No, like, sorry. This is not Priscilla. Priscilla, this is not professional. Okay. Hey, not like I forgot what I'm saying. I'm just trying to reverse my thought into the reason why I'm speaking about this. Okay, so why I spoke about this story is that I'm saying that I understand why certain people certain women in sexual situation, sexual harassment spaces, that they couldn't do anything until it blew into a full-fledged rape, and not just once, it was consistent, right? Is that you're not in the mental place. Oh, thank you so much for this download. That such person is not in the mental state to 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 protect themselves, or to give them the necessary security they need for their safety. So is primarily, Priscilla, I'm having this conversation. This is a new download. Come in, come in, come in. I welcome you. I sit in my ease. I've been checking the time. Don't rush. Deliver the information. Just stay in ease. Okay. So what's going on right now is I'm just hitting other. I'm expanding in my own perspective of why women who had been raped consistently never could protect themselves, because I didn't really get it at the time. That's why I came up with the situation with Dr. Ugoji, because then I was 16. Like I was fucking old enough. I just didn't know he was going to lie about that. Like, first thing, Priscilla, I did not know, in the word of all the whole Nigerian drama of his pedophile life, that he will ever try to sexually anything with me. Like, I know he's had younger people. I just felt like, I'm more like a daughter, in my present, brought the child that I had, spiritually linked, and I was just in my own head. Never ever